It is time to start a new video.
Dear camera enthusiasts, cinematographers, videographers, vloggers, filmmakers, YouTubers, anybody who searches for the pursuit of a better camera. Stop wasting your time looking and drooling over new gear and start creating. So I know you're like, Zach, you're beating the same drum every other storyteller makes, and I want to veer away from that because there is importance to good gear. To give you guys a bit of context, the door's open in the back, one sec. To give you a bit of context on this story, I have searched for the past week looking for a new camera, and I realized that I was looking more at review videos than I was going out and creating. I was spending hours and hours on end staring at different possibilities and potentials for opportunity as opposed to taking advantage of the existing ones that were here with me. I was leaving my camera in its bag and focusing on other gear instead of going out and actually making stuff. And the real thing is, the gear that you have, even your cell phone, is a good piece of camera equipment that you can go out and shoot stuff on. I've shot many videos on it, and I think when you guys are starting your journey, don't look at the $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 cameras leading up to the $50,000 cameras. Your cell phone can do a great thing. And the first muscle you should train is ambition. And if you can be ambitious with your cell phone and film really incredible travel videos, then take your next step, leap into the next realm. But I'm sick and tired of seeing like hundreds of review videos and camera gear videos, not necessarily because I dislike the creator. I think they're all really good. I just hate the fact that I sucked myself into them, and for hours I'm like drooling over potentials as opposed to taking advantage of actual possibilities that are out there. Like, that's ridiculous. So here's my advice for you. When it comes to looking at gear, look at, first of all, what type of gear is good for you and what type of gear will help you progress to the next stage. If you can get a lot of your crap done with just a single little DSLR or cell phone, start with that. You don't need a $500 to a $10,000 camera. I know a lot of people who own the really big, like Alexas, the Reds, the cameras that range from $20,000 to $50,000, and they are no better filmmakers than the guy who has an SLR. The only difference is they invested a lot of money in hopes that it'll buy a lot of time, and buy a lot of time creating. But the thing is, purchasing creativity never gets you to the finish line. It only creates more work for yourself. And you should not create work, you should create creativity, if that makes sense. You know, if you spend $50,000 on gear, you are going to have to make $50,000 in time of doing work. You're going to have to work off that, unless, you know, you're a rich kid. So don't go out buying the expensive gear if, first of all, you cannot afford it. Secondly, good gear, like really great gear, like the expensive camera equipment, the expensive lights, the lenses, all of that stuff, the really good stuff is not going to make you better. It might make it more accessible, it might make it easier, but simplicity does not make you better at anything. If anything, it just makes you a little bit lazier. And I would say the foundations of my success of editing, shooting, directing, creating have all come from actually pushing past my limitations rather than be given something with a silver spoon. So what I mean by that is, if you buy a really good camera that has autofocus, you won't learn how to manual focus. If you have a camera that has really great ISO and shoots in low light, you're never going to learn how to light stuff properly. If you have all this gear with all the bells and whistles, you're never going to learn how to fix the problems when they arise. And trust me, when you buy the $50,000 camera, problems still happen. Errors still occur. The only difference is you didn't learn how to fix them when you were spending money on the low end in the like $100 range. So figure out how to solve problems with your cell phone before you learn how to solve problems with a massive cinema camera. They're the same problems, just different price ranges and different scenarios and circumstances. One holds way bigger stakes than the other. I would say it's much easier to solve problems with lower stakes than it is with high ones. Now, here's a list of things that I went to look for when I came to buying my new camera. I just bought the A7 III, that's not to be mistaken for the A7R, but I bought this because there were a couple things that I had grown past, things that I wanted as a bit of a luxury, and here's what they were. The first one was I wanted a camera that had really good autofocus. I'm seeing myself doing more vlogs and more talk to camera stuff and more tutorials, and autofocus is key for that. So A7 III, dynamite for that. It has longer battery power, dual SD card slots. Its body just feels a little bit more robust than the A7S Mark II, and there's just a bunch of other little key features. I exchanged my want into a need, and this is very important when it comes to the pursuit of gear or anything in life. If it's just a want and stays as a want, if you pursue a want, that will eventually turn into a regret because you didn't have enough justification behind it. But if you're able to adjust that want and make it a need, then the result of regret eliminates itself because you actually needed it. You actually needed to spend XYZ dollars on it, XYZ time in order to exchange for those dollars. Everything is justifiable. Make sure you have justification before pursuing an expensive price tag. The other thing is, regret also lives within staring at your computer, looking for hours and hours on end through gear. Find the gear that fits and caters to your quality and then go with it. If you're shooting real estate videos, you're doing commercials, and you're shooting stuff that's indoors, maybe you don't need a camera like Sam Kolder has, because his gear is catered to travel, adventure, and all that craziness. For me, I do adventure, I do a little bit crazy stuff, so I have a camera that can do that. But I also love doing cinematic movie stuff, so that's why I went with the Sony series. If you guys are interested in my sort of personal camera preferences, I'll have a link to them in the description below, what I would recommend for you guys for starting out, for getting into it. But the big thing is, look at your wants and needs. Are you wanting to start vlogging? Then pursue a vlogging camera. If you're wanting to do commercials and music videos, then pursue that gear. But don't go into it super open-ended and then go down the rabbit hole of gear, because trust me, hours will be spent, opportunities will be destroyed, and therefore you will have spent more time obsessing rather than creating. So that's kind of the end of that. I also, more importantly, just wanted to test out this camera. I'm loving it. It's so much fun. I'll do a more extensive video talking about the A7 III and sort of the bells and whistles and the stuff that I like about it. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this. Thank you so much for giving me your time. Also, I absolutely love the positive feedback that you guys gave to me on my last video, photographs. If you guys haven't seen it, there's a link to it in the description below. But essentially, I really am passionate about what I do. The gear that I have will help enhance that. But some of the footage that you saw in there was from GoPros, from drones. Some of it was from lower end cell phone stuff and cheaper cameras. It's really, mostly it's all about what you bring to the screen, not necessarily about what the gear brings to the screen. So if you can just be the filter for creativity rather than your gear, you're super on point. And again, it is not about the gear, it's how you use it. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I'll say this and do a plug for myself. If you like the content, the stuff that I'm blabbling about, want to subscribe, that would be super helpful. Comments are always amazing and helpful as well. So anyways, I will see you guys later. Check out a couple of the other things that I've done. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know in the description below, and I will see you guys later. Whew, that was a long-winded video. Thanks again. See you guys later.